Scars, they know this is theirs to lose, but it's going to be on RPR. And no, he can't. No, he can't.
My name is Dan Ušić. In game I go by PR, and I'm a master of the Wingman.
Right now, as we see RPR doing what RPR does best, and that is having a wingman in his hands and hitting some shots.
My weapon of choice is Wingman because I personally have always been more of a flicker than a tracker in video games, and the flicky playstyle of Wingman suits me way more than any other weapon. Flicking is when you don't constantly have your crosshair on the enemy, but you suddenly kind of swipe your mouse in their direction and try to hit them. It's more of a reactive play. It differentiates from tracking because in tracking you have your crosshair on the enemy at 100% of the times, where in flicking you can kind of look around and kind of react to the enemy and flick on them. Alright, so this is how I warm up my Wingman before I go in a game. Is I'll load up firing range. There's a certain Easter egg in firing range that a lot of people don't know about. It's this tunnel, that's the last tunnel in the line, and you have to switch to Pathfinder and drop everything out of your inventory. Grapple up on this little ledge up here, get in the middle of the ledge, crouch and look down, and then swap characters, and you'll hear a little tick, and that means that the moving targets have been enabled. So now all the targets that usually sit there and do nothing are now actual moving bots that shoot back at you. So what I will do is I would pick up gear here, and I'll pick up a Wingman, pick up the attachments that I want for the Wingman, and I will set in the firing range and just kind of practice different scenarios that I might find myself in with the Wingman. Like I'll go on a different high ground and pretend like I'm being pushed. I'll go and on a low ground and fight him on low ground straight up. And for the most part, I'm just trying to hit as many headshots as I can, because hitting a headshot is the strongest thing you can do with a Wingman. Now, the strengths of the Wingman in competitive, there's multiple strengths. The most important strength is that you don't have to carry as much ammo, so you can carry more nades, ult taxels. In my case, I carry sniper ammo for my teammates or extra meds and stuff like that. Other than that, it's a very high damage weapon that can do a lot of damage quickly. If you, let's say, hit a headshot and a body shot in a row.
This rotation is turning. Oh my gosh, double headshot, RPR, absolute god!
That's 100+ damage. It's a really good opening to a fight. I would say at least one Wingman per team is pretty good, because it also helps you manage your economy better, and it's that high impact damage. So I'm just looking for ways to maximize my damage and warm up my aim. On top of that, you can also kind of like hit these targets while you're waiting for them to respawn, and just warm up your aim as much as you can. Try to flick as much as you can. Practice your hip fire, your jiggle peeking. Just put yourself in different scenarios where you think you would be in an actual game, and try to like mimic that with the bots. Obviously, this is not perfect. The bots movement is nowhere near as good as actual players in the game, but it's enough to at least make you feel warm before you go in a game. And then every time you get damaged a little bit, you can go back to the red armors here, armor swap, pick up some more ammo, and just keep going. And usually I will do this for about half an hour a day before I start playing. Is usually what I look to do. On tournament days I will do a little bit more, because I want to make sure I'm really warm. Also, you can test out different sights like red dot, no red dot. Make sure you know which one you prefer. That's how I found out that I actually prefer iron sights in Wingman, because I noticed that my Wingman just goes way better when I'm iron sights. I play Wraith, which is a character that can overextend a lot because of her abilities. So the way I play is I'll run out a lot, and I'll run like to a spot that's a bit more dangerous for other characters, but Wraith can survive it. And I will scout out where the enemies are, and then I'll try to poke in like a couple headshots, body shots, try to get some damage in, test out the enemy armors. And basically the way I use the Wingman is just kind of like scout for information, scout for enemy armors to know which fight we're gonna take if we have to take one. and usually I also do the opening damage with it. The Wingman is good for every range depending on the player. Mid-range it's the strongest, it's what it's supposed to be used for. The long range, if you're good with it, you can hit a decent bit of shots.
Placements, now we're into placement. 69 IQ, taken out in 16th spot. They're not able
to level up your evo to red armor, purple armor early. And close range, it really just depends on the feeling. A lot of people get into close range and they miss a lot of shots because they're not used to it. But it all, in my opinion, what helps me with that is just iron sights. I put it on iron sights and I hit most of my shots close range.
Difficult for Scars if they do manage to find him. However, RPR is going to find someone else. He's almost going to get the knock. Yes, he is.
This is pretty much what most of the pros do these days. Firing range. If you want to get better, firing range is the way, because Apex is a BR game, and in the actual games you don't really get that much action compared to how much you play. You actually have to also find the weapons that you want to use. And choose the weapon to pair with the Wingman. Usually I prefer any kind of a shotgun because of the bubble fights, but if I cannot have a shotgun, I really like flatline Wingman, because flatline just allows me, like, I can kind of use the flatline like a shotgun because I can hip fire it a lot close range. The best way to get better with the Wingman is just to use it a lot. The only reason I'm good with the Wingman is because I've been using it since day one, and it's the kind of weapon that if you don't use it, you're gonna get bad with it. This is the best way to improve, in my opinion.
Scars, they know this is theirs to lose, but it's going to be on RPR. And no, he can't quite. No, he can! At the last second, he clutches that one out. He had almost no hit points left.
So this was my ALGS Masters on the Wingman. See you in the game.